Hello, friends. Josh Johnson here. We are about to get this party started. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Again, if you're new to this, I am the engineer, meteorologist, and camera operator and sound guy for all of these updates. I want to welcome those of you watching on the WSFA First Alert Weather app. You can also stream some of these live on your smart TV. If you've got Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, you can stream live there. We are also doing an ongoing chat, conversation, multicast, whatever you call it, on Facebook and YouTube as well. Just search Josh Johnson WSFA on Facebook. Just search @JoshWeather on YouTube, and you can watch and kind of carry on with us. We have all sorts of fun here. We talk about storms, snow, hurricanes, wildfires, power outages, my hairline, Sunkissed Zero, the best barbecue places, you name it. Really no topic off limits. We do have to kind of keep it serious on a night like tonight, though, because we have some pretty active storms around the state. Let me show you. This is a live look at radar. You've got a really tough line of storms here coming through Otaugaville in the next few moments. Let me zoom in here. We'll just go up and down this. Pineapple, Beatrice, getting it now. Lounsboro, Hayneville, Otaugaville, Billingsley. It's imminent, right? Main threat here is damaging straight-line wind gusts. So there's a lot of strong wind in this batch of storms. It is racing to the east. I mean, really fast. So what we can do, this is where it is now at 9:30. I think by 10:30, it's probably through Montgomery. That's how fast this is moving. 11:30, it's into far east Alabama. By 12:30, it's into Wiregrass exclusively. And by 1:30 to 2, this is likely out of the state entirely. So this is going to be a very fast-moving storm scenario for Alabama as we go through this. Here's the power outage map. You can see it here on the Vance Law Firm Storm Track Zone behind me here. Some big numbers, right? We'll share the statewide number right now. It's a big one, just so you know. Power outages in Alabama now approaching 100,000. And this line hasn't made it to Montgomery yet, one of the state's largest cities. And then you've got more population centers, Greenville, Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, kind of associated with that central corridor. The majority of the 95,000 right now are actually up in the Birmingham metro. We can actually zero in and show you that. So you'll notice in Jefferson County, it's 38,000. In Tuscaloosa County, it's 6,000. So 44,000 out of that 90,000 plus is right there around Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. But still, even in our area, there are some big numbers, right? We'll zoom in mainly to West Alabama here. Again, these are county by county outage numbers. In Butler County, we're at 1,000. In Wilcox County, 1,500. Dallas County, 1,500. Autauga, Elmore, around 100. Remember, the storms haven't even arrived there yet. Those are all outages associated with powerful thunderstorm wind here. So it's definitely a unique set of circumstances, to be sure, with what we're seeing here. So tracking it all out, this thing's moving quick, right? We've advertised that all along, and it still is. This is a very, very fast-moving cluster of storms. So far, so good on the rotation front. Let me find some wood to knock on here. So I don't think there's any. This down here, you can't see it. There we go. So far, so good. We haven't had any type of major rotation in that part of the state. We have had some very, very strong wind gusts, though. That has really been the major player in this so far. Let me take the lightning off, stop the animation, and we just to do our due diligence here, we will keep a close eye on the line right now to see what we see in terms of any types of rotation. Right now, I don't see a nickel's worth of rotation in this, right? What you're looking for on this map are where red and green sort of lock together, right? And we don't see that. Yeah, I mean, they touch down here. A lot of people, when they explain this, they kind of do a clumsy job with it and say red and green touch. It's not that, right? It's where red and green couple together, where they sort of interlock there. That's where you really get into some problems with all of that. So with rotation and tornadoes. So that's where we are right now. Movement with this is rapidly to the east here. I'll switch back to sort of the more traditional radar view you're used to seeing. We'll zoom out a little bit and then click play. This is really just barreling east, right? So this is not going to be with us for a lot longer. This is a very fast-moving line of storms, and it's going to race across the state, or it is racing across the state as I speak. So Let's go in here. I want to show you some other stuff that we're watching and kind of keeping an eye on here. And some other things that we're seeing in the data. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Let me show you what we're kind of up against right now. The storms are moving in right now. You know that line of storms now through, I've got 4 a.m. on there as a kind of CYA. That stands for CYR, cover your rear type thing for the wiregrass if this were to slow down some. But every indication that we have right now suggests for most of central Alabama, other than the Dothan area, this is done by 1:30 or 2. It's moving very rapidly. We expected that. Isolated tornadoes are the secondary threat. The main concern is damaging wind gust. So here's the latest hour by hour. You'll notice the model here has it through Montgomery by 11 o'clock. I think that's right on the money. I think by 10:30, it's probably through the city of Montgomery. Then it's by 1 o'clock, it's along the Georgia border. And by 3 o'clock, not only is it gone, it's kind of long gone. So this is going to be an extremely fast-moving storm scenario across the state. We will watch for any embedded pockets of rotation. So far, we do not see any of those. So that's what we're up against there. Now, timing this out, some of these times are already in the past, right? You look to the Marengo County, 5 to 9 p.m. The risk of severe weather in Marengo County has ended. And let me show you on radar here. On the Facebook YouTube stream, we'll use radar scope. For those watching on the app, we'll pop back over here. Look, everywhere behind the line, right? If you live left of this red line, right out in this part of the state, the risk of severe weather here has ended. Demopolis, Linden, Grove Hill, Camden. There is no more severe weather to be found out there, right? You live anywhere, again, kind of on the left side of that blue line. Anywhere over here, everything's good. The risk of severe weather has ended. So Selma, Orville, Marion, Demopolis, Linden, Grove Hill, you're done, right? There's some leftover rain, but that's about it. And even that will kick out pretty quickly. So it's really out ahead of that line where we're still having the problems with wind damage and things of that nature. Let's look into the line. So this is the view from the RSA Tower. It's actually already starting to rain here in downtown Montgomery. You can see it there. Our viewpoint there looking back from the RSA Tower into the city of Montgomery, looking back to the west. I have occasionally seen flashes of lightning along that western horizon. That's that flank of storms approaching in from the west. So you can actually see it really well. Let's change views here. You probably saw it rippling behind me on one of our other cameras. This is Dexter Avenue. The view here looking back up Dexter from lower Dexter. So RSA Tower's over here off screen to the left. That's our building. There's the Capitol. Yeah, check it out. See that? Big flashes of lightning continue to pop in there. With a line of storms, by the way, that is still a healthy distance away from downtown Montgomery. Now, the lightning is out ahead of that. Let's make that point, too, here, that heavy rain and thunder and lightning is going to begin 30 minutes or so before the line of storms arrives. So for the Facebook YouTube group, we'll go back to radar scope, and I'll show you this, right? So for those watching on those streams, your line of storms is actually back here. All this out ahead has a lot of lightning in it. There's nothing strong or severe about it, but it's windy and there's a ton of lightning, even along that first flank, that first leading edge of this. So this is one of those where you're going to see a pretty instant onslaught of thunder and lightning and gusty wind. And then life is going to start to gradually improve here. Let's do this too. I think Maxwell radar is down. Indeed it is, yeah. So Maxwell's down. So the line is actually ahead of even where I had it a moment ago. So Maxwell radar is down. Hopefully the National Weather Service can get out there and get that repaired soon. Hopefully they have the people to do that, right? We won't get into all of that, but if I were going to start cutting waste in the federal government, National Weather Service would be one of the last places I would start cutting. And I'm not a political person. That's not a political statement. I'm a weather person. People like to yell, stick to the weather, and this is the weather. I'm talking to you about the weather and the National Weather Service, and I hope they have enough people to go fix that radar because it's down, right? So I'm sure they'll get it done. So that's the position of the line of storms. The line now is over Prattville. It's over Hayneville. So let's go up and down here kind of we'll switch back over to the Birmingham radar. That'll be our best kind of salvation in this, will be that radar. What in the world? There we go. That's correct. So this is the correct radar imagery, which we like to show you correct things. We really enjoy that kind of thing. Okay, so we're a little farther away, right? Maxwell would give us a closer look, but we still don't see any tight coupling as far as rotation is concerned in this. There's a ton of wind, though. Check this out. We can actually go in here and show you the raw velocities along the leading edge here. And the radar is indicating, and remember, this is up above the ground, right? The radar doesn't measure the wind speed at the ground. It measures the wind speed, in this case, a couple of thousand feet above the ground, a few thousand feet even. But generally speaking, somewhere between 60 and 80% of this can make it down to the Earth's surface. So that would indicate the likelihood of 45 to 55, maybe even 60 mile per hour wind as this comes through. Now, good news or bad news, it's just news. We will know soon enough, because the line here is rapidly approaching Montgomery Regional Airport. So we have a weather observation station there where we will get ground truth on this, and we will instantaneously know what it's producing, because the part of the line that's going to hit the airport is a pretty strong part of it. So we'll get some ground truth in here pretty quickly. I'm going to hold my breath as I do this. I'm going to look at the comments, see if we got any questions out there. A lot of folks asking about specific cities, specific towns. And yes, I know both devices are low on battery. I got that. We're good there. So damaging wind gusts are the main concerns here, and will be up and down this entire line as this thing comes on east. So we're talking, and then another part of this is, even way ahead of the storms, this afternoon, we had wind gusts up above 40 miles an hour across most of our area today. We had power outages. We had power outages where the lines then sparked wildfires, right? That's the thing we're dealing with right now. Honestly, we needed this rain very badly. I don't want any severe weather to go along with it, but we needed the rain because of the wildfire situation we found ourselves in. So we already were in a scenario where we were having power outages and trees and things popping. This line is only going to exacerbate that, right? We are going to see a very fast increase in the wind speed and in the power outage numbers as this comes through each county. It's over Prattville right now. Yeah, you're getting pounded right now. Prattville up to Pine Level and Marbury. Strong wind there. And look, don't be out driving in any of this, right? Do not drive in any of this. Period. Hard stop. It's going to be raining torrentially. The wind's going to be whipping around out there. It's really not safe. If you don't have to be on the roads anytime between now and, say, 10:30, 11 o'clock in Montgomery, don't do it. Get off the roads. Stay off the roads. So, expecting the power outages to grow? Yes, absolutely. Otagoville, it's the worst of it is passed through Otagoville now. Life will get better soon. This is the worst of it right here. So let's just go up and down the line here. We'll start up in Coosa. The line is not as intense here. Let me just call it like I see it. There's heavy rain, there's thunder, there's lightning, there's gusty wind, but I would suspect here you're probably looking at more like 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. As you head south, the line does intensify. So into Elmore, Autauga, Lowndes, Montgomery County, I expect up and down this line fairly consistent 45 to 55 mile per hour wind, and some higher gusts that could go as high as 60 or 65. So that's consistent with some tree damage, some privacy fences. Those can come down, right? You can get power outages. You will get power outages in some areas with a line like that. That's coming on back down through Prattville, and then from there curving back to Hayneville. Yeah, Highway 21, Highway 94 right now, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, gusty wind. And then it just keeps going south from there. I'll switch over to the Mobile radar to give you a little better look in on the southern side of this. But you can see this extends back down to Conecuh, Monroe, Butler as well. So everything's moving east. You'll notice the western side of it is not moving as fast, right? These storms are coming into Montgomery and Fairhope at the same time. Fairhope's quite a bit farther west than Montgomery. So it will take longer for them to clear the southern and southeastern corner of the state. So when we say severe weather threat now through 4 a.m., what we're really saying is for central Alabama, there's a severe weather threat now through about 1 or 1:30. For south and southeast Alabama, there's a threat that could linger as late as 4, primarily in that southeastern corner around Dothan, just because that southern side of this is not moving quite as fast, right? So that's where we are with that. Again, we don't see any significant signs of rotations anywhere. So Angela's asking about should we be worried about tornadoes? I don't think you have to be worried about them. You have to understand where we are. There is a risk of isolated tornadoes within this line. We have not had an active tornado warning in Alabama in a pretty long time now, and these storms are moving into an increasingly dry environment where we don't have as much warm, muggy air that came up out of the Gulf today. They got warm, just didn't get all that muggy. So as these come on east, that's what we expect to see, is primarily a damaging wind threat with a secondary risk of a brief tornado. Let me show you this on the map here. So we'll go in and pop up the dew point. The dew point is a measure of how muggy the air is, right? So check this out. See where it's green right there? See that little narrow pinched off corridor where it's green? That's an area where there's enough fuel for storms. But notice, as you move into East Alabama, the numbers get lower really fast. So Southwest Alabama, dew point 66. East Central Alabama, 56. That makes a huge difference. Now, the muggy air is making a slow push, but as the storms move east, they're moving east faster than that muggy air can move with them. So that will lend itself towards a gradual decrease in the tornado threat. We're not going to flip a switch and say, okay, no more tornado threat. It will be a gradual step down, right, in the tornado threat over the course of the next, 90 minutes, 2 hours. The other thing I'll point out, because I know we have people watching this from all over, down in the Florida Panhandle, kind of a similar thing. You're very close to the Gulf down here, but look, if you compare that number at Dauphin Island at 68, you get over closer to 38, Panama City, Destin, it's 61. That's not to say there's no tornado risk there, but I will tell you the atmosphere is not as supportive for tornadoes along the Florida Panhandle than it was and is along the immediate Alabama Gulf Coast. So something to watch and something we'll keep an eye on. So that's the kind of the science behind this whole thing. That's the limiting factor here. And I'll be candid with you. If the dew point across the state right now, that number that was in the upper 60s and even upper 50s, if that number was like 70 area wide, we would have been covering tornadoes all night, because most of the other ingredients we look for to assess a tornado threat are present across Alabama tonight. So we can all be thankful for that dry air. If you walked outside today and it felt sort of dry, this is a good thing. This is really what has helped us out quite a bit. So lots of people asking about specific cities and towns and that sort of thing. Yeah, look, hey, the warm air made it north, right? But it wasn't all that muggy, as I just showed you there. There was a little bit of dry air left over from the chilly temperatures we just had that really helped kind of save the day here. So line of storms pushing east. Okay, so one little signature I'm seeing here, what we look for on a night like tonight, see that little bow right there? It almost looks like a backward C right there. So I would suspect we're seeing some very strong wind right now, eastern Lowndes, western Montgomery County, probably out at the airport too. Let's go look. We can actually take you live now to FlyMGM, Montgomery Regional Airport, and whew, man, yeah. That's about what I expected to see. It is rocking and rolling out there now. This is the ASC Credit Union camera network, and it is raining sideways now there at Montgomery Regional Airport. It's moving east, Kodak. Kodak asked, bruh, which way is it moving? Bruh, it's moving east. Most of the people watching this know that because we mentioned it many, many times. But maybe you're new to this. Any tornado threat for Eufaula? Yes, but it's very minor, very low. Intense lightning in Opelika. Cody, thanks for that report. That helps. And there is a ton of lightning in this. The app shows it's over me right now in Elmore, but it's very quiet. Depends on what part of Elmore you're in. Deatsville, Millbrook, Slapout, raining really hard now, thunder, lightning, really torrential wind. It looks a lot like this. You get into central and eastern Elmore, it's just mainly rain and lightning, but everything again is moving east. So this will rush east pretty quickly over the course of the next hour or two. And there's, again, Montgomery Regional Airport. We're getting really strong wind out there right now. So, is it losing energy as it moves east? That's a great question. And we kind of talked about that a moment ago about as it moves east, it's moving east so fast, it's outrunning the supportive humidity that helps fuel these storms. It's outrunning its own fuel supply. So yes, it will. It will take some time though. And the problem is it will keep producing a lot of strong wind until the very end. So the tornado threat will lessen with the farther east it goes. But the damaging wind threat, I think, by the time it weakens to reduce a damaging wind threat, it'll already be in Georgia, right? Because it's moving so fast. So double-edged sword there. Strong wind at Opelika. Is Billingsley in the clear now? Yes. D, we are covering all of this. We've had maps on the screen all night. And look, I'm not getting into politics, but if you think I'm going to interrupt the President of the United States to talk about a severe thunderstorm warning, I'm not your guy. Sorry, might be. But I would be called every four-letter word other than Josh if I pulled that maneuver. Now, a tornado warning, a damaging tornado that is a threat to life and property, I'll do it. But for a situation like this where it's strong straight-line wind and really all you really need to do is stay indoors and you're going to be fine, we will not interrupt programming for that scenario. So Chambers County timeline, midnight. It's moving east so fast. Midnight at the latest. Really probably more like 11 to midnight, Chambers County. Good question. Getting loud. What's shorter expect? Yeah. Everywhere up and down this line, there's going to be a ton of straight line wind. So for people, and look, this is the airport. Notice how it's still just whipping out there. This part of the storm will last about 20 to 25 minutes. And then almost as fast as it all started, it's just going to wind down. And it'll rain a little bit and it'll be breezy, but it won't be anything like this. So it's over Montgomery now. It's coming into downtown. Let's switch cameras here. I know this is pretty wild, but as it comes into downtown, we're going to see that same thing. Notice the lightning flashing pretty frequently in there too. So that's where we are. Behind the line, everything ends pretty quickly. The severe weather threat winds down very rapidly. So there's the line right now. Prattville and west, Lounsboro and west, Pineapple and points west. You're good. Leftover rain, but life's better. All right, I hate to wind this thing down, but we've got WSFA 12 News at 10 coming up in 1 minute. And I'm actually the lead thing in that newscast because of the bad weather. That makes sense. Our producers put us up at the top for that. So everyone stay indoors. I will charge all the devices. And look, I'm not going away. I'm not going anywhere. Just I need you to change over to WSFA, right? On our app, you can stream this on the 10 o'clock news on your weather app, your news app. If you've got a smart TV, you can stream it there. If you have none of those things, just go to WSFA.com/live and stream it there. So, but for the TV side of it, I'm going to be showing maps and doing things that you won't be able to see or hear. So I don't want that to be a distraction. So everyone, follow me. Let's go. Grab your coat, grab your hat. We're going to head over to WSFA's app family or WSFA.com/live. Or if you live locally, you can watch over the air free with an antenna or on your cable satellite. So I'm going live there in 10 seconds. This live's about to end, but we'll see you on